This movie review is brought to you by Danny K Reviews. Enemy was directed by Denis Villeneuve. This was one of his first well-known movies and stars Jake Gyllenhaal. A man who randomly comes across his doppelganger quickly searches for more answers as he becomes obsessed with meeting his clone. So like I said, Enemy was one of Denis Villeneuve's first bigger movies. Not that Denis Villeneuve is a mainstream director just yet, because a lot of the films that he has directed didn't do that great at the box office, but at the same time, it seems like the man is starting to become one of the most well-known directors in Hollywood, especially considering he's directing Dune, a movie that's been completed for now a year probably, and still hasn't come out. But as the facts stand, Denis Villeneuve is a very talented director. Just look at the other movies he's directed. I love Sicario. Prisoners is one of my top 15 favorite movies of all time. I wasn't the biggest fan of Arrival or Blade Runner 2049, but respect the work that went into both of those movies. And along with his other indie movies, Enemy is in the same boat as them, basically saying that this movie is an indie movie too. It was an A24 film, so it's not necessarily a big movie. This was absolutely an indie movie at the time, and now as time has gone on, it's become more and more popular, especially with Villeneuve enthusiasts. When I caught Enemy for the first time about 5 years ago, what I noticed right away is just how uneasy and dirty this movie makes me feel. A lot of that certainly has to do with the film's cinematography. As always, Denis Villeneuve's movies look great, and it's no different in Enemy. The look of Toronto, Ontario, Canada is so distinct. Just like Jake Gyllenhaal's character obsesses over his doppelganger, I obsess over the film's environment. The color palette is so unique in itself. Toronto has never looked so bleak and eerie, as if this movie is just a dream or it's taking place in somebody's subconscious, maybe? Also adding to the film's creepy vibes are the movie's tension-filled moments. On occasion, you may mistake Enemy for a horror movie because there certainly are some moments that keep you on the edge of your seat, as if you're not sure what's going to happen next. There may be a jump scare. It's tension-filled from beginning to end. But for me, even though I love the film's aesthetic, the look of the movie is beautiful, the vibes are very creepy, I think the best part of this film is absolutely how ambiguous the movie is. There is no doubt the movie requires a lot of thinking and asks the viewer to think long and hard about what they just watched. The way I describe this movie is that it feels like Darren Aronofsky wrote the script and then he handed it to Denis Villeneuve, and then from there on out, this movie is just one big metaphor, a puzzle that every single viewer had to piece together, because watching this movie on first watch, you're going to say to yourself, what the heck did I just see? And then after doing some research, you'll begin to understand the deeper meaning of the film. So if you're somebody that hates metaphorical films, I guarantee you will hate Enemy with a burning passion, because this movie does you no favors. It does not answer any questions. It leaves everything up to the viewer. There are some interpretations that are left for the viewer, but also the director has answered multiple questions about the deeper meaning of the film. All in all, it's one of those films that has such a cool concept and becomes even more fascinating the moment it ends. Because you know there's more than meets the eye in Enemy, and even the ending itself, it is bizarre, it's crazy. I'm not going to spoil what it is if you have not seen the film yet, but Denis Villeneuve does this one thing that I'm sure creeped the living hell out of so many people. Unfortunately, the first time I saw this movie, I already knew what the ending shot was, so it didn't scare me, but I did watch a lot of other people's reaction to the ending, and they were terrified. So if you couldn't tell by now, I like Enemy a lot. This movie is very interesting to unravel. I love solving puzzle pieces in movies. I love doing tons of research and figuring out what everything meant and the deeper meaning of the movie itself. Something I didn't point out yet though is that this movie is an hour and 25 minutes without credits, so it's a very concise film, but at the same time, it feels like they are trying to just meet that hour and 30 mark, and there are a couple moments in Enemy where it feels like they're just trying to meet that hour and 30 mark, so they have to throw in a couple of shots that feel like filler. There's about 5 minutes in this movie that keep going on, and you know for a fact they could have gone through that quicker. And for somebody that loves metaphorical films, I'm a huge Darren Aronofsky fan. I love a lot of his movies, so of course I'm gonna love Enemy, but this movie, in comparison to those films, doesn't have as great of a deeper meaning as I would have preferred, because the entire time the film feels like it's building towards this crazy twist when in reality it's all just going down a metaphorical route, which I'm okay with because I love metaphorical films. But if you could have somehow, instead of going down the metaphorical route, instead opted for unraveling a huge twist at the end that would have shocked all of audiences, I may have preferred that over the metaphorical route. As I stated, the concept of Enemy is so cool that they probably could have had an insane twist for all audience members to love. And if you're an audience member back when this movie came out and you saw the bizarre, crazy ending, you probably wanted to throw some things at the screen, because Denis Villeneuve went down the same exact route that Darren Aronofsky finds himself going down time and time again. I'm somebody who really enjoys those kinds of movies though, so I'm giving Enemy an 85%. Alright, for those of you who also happen to see Enemy, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. And as always guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.